Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jay here, and we are back with the third installment of my reaction debunk series. In today's video, we are finally going to be reacting to Luffy versus Naruto Part 2 by Shock. This video is actually called Luffy versus Naruto, Luffy's Fundamental Advantages over Naruto, One Piece versus Naruto Part 2. So, right off the bat, that title is a fucking mouthful. Let's just jump into the video. Alright, I'll fuck with the little animation.
Hello Internet, Jojo here, and I'm back for round 2.
Alright, round 2.
Actually, this is the first real video I'm making on this topic. The first one is more of me just putting a finger on the pulse of the debate to see where we stand. I mean, can you think
okay, so
way?
that bullshit right there was essentially bro just saying that all his arguments in the first video he made on this topic were on easy mode or some shit like that, which is fair considering I definitely didn't discuss any like high tier Naruto, right, in my original debunk to his video. So yeah,
A better way. Now, make no mistake, I could have sliced every one of your arguments off at the knees if I wanted to.
Alright, so now bro just capped.
However, I kind of just run dry, and I've grown bored of your attempted arguments.
My attempted
video,
arguments? Hold on, nah, ain't this the same dude who said Luffy regrowing his tooth or some bullshit like that was better than Kid Naruto regrowing lungs? Like, come on,
I'm going to unleash the Kraken. I have several undisputable arguments and many smaller facts that prove that Luffy would not only beat Naruto at the end of the series, but would beat him now. Now, before you like or dislike, at the end of this video, I have a bet to make with you, and your like or dislike will be placed in your bet. It's not going to be one of those.
I can't take the bet, bro. Look, YouTube done fucked around and removed the dislike button. So, alright, shit.
Like if you agree kind of things, that would be stupid.
Let me stop making these jokes.
This is a legitimate bet, with stakes on both sides. That said, let's get to the first argument that just destroys the debate.
Your thirst for battle is your undoing. However, if anyone here still...
My nigga, you are not Shanks pulling up to Marineford. Get the fuck... Alright, let me stop. I said I was gonna stop, but this shit is funny.
Fine.
This nigga thinks he ended the war. Like, bro, you didn't end the debate, my nigga.
Devil fruits and chakra are the same thing, meaning that Haki is super effective on it.
Okay, alright. So right off the bat, I'm willing to sort of steel man his first argument. Just because this is a cross-verse battle, and depending on who you ask, it is sort of just verse battle standard to, you know, equalize power systems under these conditions. Like, for example, if I was to ask somebody like King Bullet, I guess, who he like, if we should equalize power systems in like a Naruto versus One Piece kind of battle, he'd be like, yeah, verse battle standards or some shit like that, I guess. So that's fine.
Actually, look at it.
Also, I feel like it doesn't give Luffy any sort of advantage over Naruto. Let's be honest.
It's not only the same thing as devil fruits, but it's actually just magic with a different name.
Magic?
If you take chakra and look at any magic system from maybe a series like Black Clover, the only difference is that when you're using chakra, you get more freedom to choose what type of magic you want to use. However, that's where the differences stop and similarities start.
Okay, so there's way more differences between Mana and Black Clover and chakra and Naruto than just that little bullshit he stated there, right? Mana is something like that you can argue is almost alive with a consciousness, right? Obviously, it's an all-encompassing energy source, right? But it can also dwell naturally within like inanimate objects and like the land itself. You feel me? So whereas I feel like chakra, which is something artificially created through the cultivation of life force by fucking aliens, which always needs like a spiritual or mental aspect to it. Mana, excuse me, necessarily doesn't need these two aspects to exist. Also, you could just blatantly argue Mana is alive in Black Clover and chakra is not. So there are very fundamental differences between the two, but this is a cross-verse battle, and as I said, I'm fine with equalizing power systems. I don't really know why he wanted to make this point so bad, but...
Just like devil fruits, chakra is an internal power that can be manifested in a variety of external ways. Both have a
Bro, he literally
essence.
just described every fucking shonen power system in existence. Reishi is an internal power system that can be manifested in a bunch of external... Like, bro, get the fuck out of here.
As well as strong connection to science, with the pacifistas being given Kizaru's laser and ninja tools storing both chakra and jutsus. Both devil fruits and chakra are known to increase their respective power by ingesting a pill. Both devil fruits and chakra are directly connected to the user's life force. Both are created by a super powerful being, and get this, both are directly linked to a special magical fruit. Literally the same thing.
Right. So those last 2 points he made were kind of absolute bullshit. I'm not gonna lie. Just because of how ambiguous devil fruits are, even within the One Piece verse to this day, like nobody really knows the origins, So to just say they were concretely created by like these sea devils or whatever is just sort of bullshit. Especially when that's like the only scan. The scan he showed is the only scan um which ever elaborates on that origin of the devil fruits, right? There's even another theory in One Piece where like the devil fruits are the devils themselves, and eating a devil fruit is just, becoming possessed by that devil and gaining its attributes or something of that nature. And I'll throw that scan up on the screen. But yeah, it's just really fucking weird to do, right? Um, and the whole chakra fruit and devil fruit being similar thing is completely fucking stupid, right? You have to either kill an entire planet or feed a transcendent alien fucker to a 10-tailed monster you planted in the ground like a seed to get a god tree, right? And then get like a divine fruit or whatever. But where do you have to do this to get a devil fruit? You feel me? Like, it's just two completely different things, right? And whereas devil fruits are sort of the origin of all, like, devil fruit powers within the verse, you feel me? Like, the chakra fruit is still like a product of chakra. It's not like the origin of all chakra. You feel me? It was the origin of all chakra for Earth, but the Otsutsukis naturally have chakra, and they create these chakra fruits. So, you feel me? Like, chakra is like still needed in the process of creating the chakra fruit, whereas it's sort of different for a devil fruit, in my opinion, but
There is no chakra ability that a devil fruit does not have. Like Naruto's new form, Baryon mode. Big Mom and Ainz can both attack a person's life force.
dumbing
The Deva
down
Path
fucking
is a weak
Baryon
version
mode.
of Blackbeard's and Fujitori's fruit. The Ashra Path...
A weak version? A weak version of the Deva Path. Fujitori's bullshit ass fruit. Like, no disrespect to my homie Fujitora. No, but seriously, when the fuck has Fujitora ever done anything even close to what has been performed with like the Deva Path by like Madara or Nagato or somebody like that, right? Even Death Battle, who he referenced in his last video as a credible source, right? Places Madara's fucking meteors summoned by the Deva Path at like 300 something petatons of force, right? Which is ridiculous. Whereas all the calcs I've ever seen for Fujitori's meteor only place it at like country level, right? And I've seen people even have contention with that, right? Considering you can argue he pulls these meteors from somewhere like Sky Island and not necessarily space, considering there is land and rocks above like the land and rocks in the One Piece universe. So there's just like really weird arguments you can make to sort of lowball Fujitora, whereas like Mara's meteors are consistently calculated like multi-continental, right? And I've never seen anything like that for Fujitora's meteors in specific. Like, I'm not saying multi-continental One Piece isn't a thing. It's definitely somewhat contentious in my opinion, but yeah, it's just ridiculous to say that fucking Fujitora's fruit is like it's better than the Deva Path in any way. In fact, the Deva Path might be a more advanced version of Fujitora's fruit. You feel me? Considering it doesn't just grant control over gravity, right? The Deva Path grants control over repulsive and attractive forces, right? So that would be more than just gravity. So right there, you already have the Deva Path being more versatile than just Fujitora's fruit. You feel me? And the Deva Path is just one aspect of the Rinnegan. So
altering a person's body, and Vegapunk both do the same thing. The human path allows a user to pull out souls, and that is something that we've seen Big Mom
something
and
else I
Brook do.
find really fucking weird that he's doing in this video that's sort of counterintuitive to his entire point is he's comparing like 10 different devil fruits to one ocular jutsu in Naruto. And the only thing that's showcasing is that chakra-based powers are more versatile than just what you can do with a single devil fruit. You feel me? Like, if I have the Rinnegan, that's just like having Fujitori's fruit, Big Mom's fruit, etc., is essentially what he's saying. But that's just one eye in Naruto, but that's 10 devil fruits in One Piece. So wouldn't chakra-based abilities just be more versatile if that's the case? Like, it's just really fucking counterintuitive and sort of weird, but
Ninjas
okay,
can
bro.
summon
And
creatures
he
with the
really
animal.
didn't even have to do this, bro. There he's doing it again. Right here, he's bringing up the animal path, a singular aspect of one eyeball in Naruto, and comparing it to probably the 11th devil fruit in this example. You feel me? So it's just really weird and counterintuitive. And he didn't have to do it. He could have just used verse battle standards, and I would have been perfectly fine with that, but
The animal path. Basically, every zone and even Cracker who can summon biscuit soldiers indefinitely. The outer path can revive the dead, which characters like Big Mom,
Once
Inaru,
again,
Moria,
you know what
and
I
Brook
just
can all
fucking
do.
realized? I haven't seen a single Naruto scan in like the last minute of the video. He's been using all wiki scans, but has been showing actual One Piece manga scans. You haven't read Naruto, you've only read the wiki. That's where you're getting all your lore and information. But you've read One Piece. You're showing the manga scans for that, right? Like, come on, bro. It just seems very weird.
Very
Like,
Jutsu.
he hasn't actually seen Naruto. Let's be honest. He's bringing up wiki scans and not showing any manga scans.
Part of
But
the
watch
mayo
this.
can make a barrier that nothing can get through.
I want to see him show a One Piece
Clone
scan.
Jutsu, Raizo, Doflamingo, and Mr. 3
Look
can
at
do
this
that.
shit, bro.
Junjutsu, Sugar can do
Another
that.
wiki scan.
Medical ninjutsu.
And also, all these jutsu he's comparing to devil fruit abilities, anybody in Naruto can do them. Not just a single devil. Like, you feel me? Like, anybody can learn the shadow clone jutsu. You're not just limited to it if you like. You don't just get that ability because you're a devil fruit user. You feel me? If you have chakra, you can probably do the fucking shadow clone jutsu if you really trained and tried. Whereas if you don't eat a devil fruit in One Piece, you can never do that. Once again, chakra way more versatile than devil fruits. Also, how is the shadow clone jutsu anything like Doflamingo creating
Jutsu,
fucking
Princess Montri,
strings clones? Like, it's just stupid in my opinion. But yeah, it's kind of like comparing Madara's limbo clones to Naruto's shadow clones and saying they're the exact same shit because they're clones. It's ridiculous.
Doflamingo,
yeah.
and Ivankov can all do that.
That would even be closer because they're both chakra-based powers, whereas the fucking clones Doflamingo creates are by a devil fruit, which is completely different shit. But okay.
Reincarnation Jutsu, which is a transfer of life force, i.e. chakra to another host, which is exactly what happens with devil fruit when the user dies. Regeneration Jutsus, like Hashirama's. All Logias and Marco can do that.
How the
Senjutsu,
fuck
which
is
is a mixing of
Logias
chakra.
regenerating their bodies when they are formed like of inanimate materials? Anything like Hashirama just regrowing cells, which they wouldn't have in the form of inanimate materials. Like,
And natural energy is
there is no cell reproduction involved in Marco's recreating his body when he is made of fire. You know why? Because cells do not exist in fire, whereas that's literally all Hashirama does: recreate his cells and recreate his body. You feel me? Like, come on, bro.
is exactly like a devil fruit awakening, except just in reverse. Teleportation, law,
Actually,
and
I wouldn't know
like a
about that
devil
one.
fruit
Hold on.
awakening.
How is that? How is Senjutsu anything like a devil fruit awakening?
Senjutsu, which is the
What?
mixing of chakra and natural energy, is exactly like a devil fruit awakening, except
Okay, let me read this scan. It's very rare, but some powers can awaken and affect objects aside from the wielder. Everything's turning into string. It's almost like he isn't a Prometheum or Promethea. Okay, so I think Doflamingo's essentially using his devil fruit to turn objects in his area into string. Right? I think that's what that's depicting right there, and I think that's what he's saying is like Senjutsu, right? Transformation jutsu is the only thing that's similar to turning objects around you into different bullshit is not Senjutsu. You feel me? That's just like utilizing natural energy or something of that nature. You feel me? How is that like? I don't see how that's anything like. Come on, bro.
just in reverse. Teleportation, law, and warrior can do that. Distort space, Blackbeard can do that. Not to mention Brule, Bluno, and Carbo all have
But
access
they
to
all-
alternate dimensions. Heck, devil fruits
What
can
the
give you
fuck? Wait, whose dimensions was he comparing these to? Was he comparing like Blue Nose dimension to like Kaguya's solar system? Like, we're not even gonna discuss that yet. But like Law's teleportation is done differently from something like the flying Raijin. Like Law can just control space within a certain area with like his devil fruit, right? Whereas like Minato literally just rips like portals in space and they essentially just suck them up and poop them out at another end. You feel me? So they're two completely different things in my opinion. But
give you kung fu skills. Take that, chakra. Even some more niche chakra abilities devil fruits can do. Drain chakra, Blackbeard can do that. Control objects like puppets, Doflamingo can do that. Currently, there are very few, if anything, that chakra can do that devil fruits can't do.
okay, tell me one devil fruit ability that allows you to change reality with something like the Sharingan and Izanagi and Izanami. You feel me? Where I can imprint my imagination onto reality and change my shit, like change my own death or something of that nature. You feel me? Name one ability in One Piece where I can put you in an infinite death loop until you realize your own past misdeeds and come to terms with your own inner turmoil. What ability exists like that in One Piece? Because that's Izanagi and Izanami or whichever one in Naruto. Like, I'm just saying, it probably doesn't exist, bro. What ability in One Piece allows you to create a time-space continuum and then replace the universe around yourself with that fucking space-time at any moment you want? It exists in Naruto. You can do it via the Sharin Renegon. It's called a Minno Nakaga or some bullshit. You feel me? So, yeah,
and even then,
there's three
these
right
are only
there.
the known devil fruits. There are fruits that let people turn into food and even modern weapons.
Okay, basic
There's no reason to
transformation
assume that
jutsu in Naruto when he turned into the demon wind shuriken.
there is not a devil fruit out there that acts like the Sharingan.
Why is there any
Even-
what? You can't just assume there is one, bro. You have to have proof. Like, that's just weird.
Things like chakra flow, where the person takes their chakra and puts it into their weapon, is something that devil fruit users can do. Inoru uses energy to heat a spear.
That's
Whitebeard put
something
his
anyone
quake
can
power
do in fiction, but all right, bro.
into his
That's
spear.
like Mana, like that's like Asta, excuse me, amping his fucking swords with anti-magic is like, you know, the same thing as everything. Like, you feel me? It's like you can sort of equate any and every power system. If we just look at what he's doing and taking everything at like high value and feel me, only looking at what works for his argument, we can sort of equalize any power system, right? But yeah, he could have just used verse battle
Caesar made a
standards.
sword from superheated
I
gas.
don't even know why
and
I'm contesting this point so much. I'm just now realizing that at the beginning of this shit, I literally said I would steel man this, but yeah.
both
I'm
Aokiji
tripping.
and Kizaru can make swords using their powers. There are also multiple translations where Naruto characters use the word curse and spells. Not to mention 3 different translations and even the official translation, Sasuke uses the word magic to describe chakra and its associated
There's some kind of magic at
abilities.
work here. All right.
Also,
Clearly
the way that characters
hyperbole, my
resist
nigga.
attacks
Like, come
are
on.
the same way in many instances. Sakura was able to resist Ino's mind-body swap jutsu by being stubborn. This
Okay.
is a lot like how Jinbei was able to resist getting his soul ripped out of his body. He just
How the
refused
fuck
to be
is that
afraid.
anything alike? Whereas in Naruto, that simply means if you have a strong enough mental fortitude, you have like limited resistance to mental hacks or something of that nature. Whereas in One Piece, if you have a strong enough mental fortitude, you somehow have resistance to soul manipulation. Like what? And how is that anything alike? How is getting your mind taken over and your fucking soul ripped out the same conclusion at all? Is how I'm confused. You feel me? If you understand that one in the comments, please type that shit below because I don't know.
未来の海賊王のクルーになろうちゅう男が
And we have a
Hey, you
fucking
know what's better
ad,
than a
guys.
$5,000
We'll be
PC?
back.
4カごとき
We're
に
back.
臆しておられる
Fuck that
か
ad.
Momonga was able to resist Boa Hancock's devil fruit by flooding his mind with pain, and pain is one way a character
That's
can get out of
absolute
genjutsu.
bullshit. What he did was literally just using his brain. So essentially, Boa Hancock's devil fruit is if you look at her with lust or some bullshit like that, you essentially turn into stone, right? And he was looking at her and he was getting a little bit horny, you feel me? So to get his fucking pain off the to get his mind off the horniness, he stabbed himself in the hand. So all he could think about was pain and he didn't turn into stone. That's literally just a consequence of her ability, not any sort of external power system at work. You feel me? It's not sort of some fucking resistance you gain because of some external force. You feel me? It's just I'm stabbing myself so I'm not horny, essentially. If you were in One Piece looking at Boa Hancock, you could stab yourself, not get horny, and it wouldn't affect you, and she would just beat your ass. You feel me? Because you're not horny. It's just the weakness of her ability, right? It's not because he had some sort of mental resistance to it, right? Like it's ridiculous to even make that argument, in my opinion.
All this proves that devil fruit magic and chakra are the same thing, or are at least similar enough.
Well, you didn't prove that, but
While
I'm
it
willing
is
to
true that
accept
not
it for
every
right now,
character
just
from other
because this
series
is a
can do
cross-verse
every
battle.
one of these things,
Your arguments were
these
kinda-
abilities are fueled by the same thing, the devil's power and chakra.
completely
Because of this,
two different things,
we
my
can
nigga.
prove that they're close enough for Haki to work on chakra. Also, to this day, my favorite comparison between devil fruits and chakra is that both of these powers are directly connected to a fruit. Honestly, I can't get over that. Do you know the
Okay,
chances
bro.
of 2 of the largest franchises in manga and anime history
Fruits are completely
having
different
their
shit.
power system directly linked to a magical fruit?
Okay, bro, that's
It's
easy,
nearly
bro. you could just literally argue that both these fucking series take inspirations and certain ideas from like historical and religious backgrounds and text and shit like that. And fruits are often sources of great power or knowledge within these religious and historical texts, such as like the fruit of knowledge or the fruit of life in the Bible and the Garden of Eden and all that, right? We even see like trees are used in a lot of different series, big series, as like representations of power, like the God tree in Naruto, the Qliphoth and the World Tree and Black, etc. It's just examples of these fucking authors taking from historical, texts and stuff like that. So not necessarily too surprising.
Nearly impossible.
Not fucking
Because of
impossible.
this, there's no chakra-based attack that would be able to affect Luffy through his Haki. That's
What?
not to say that Haki is immune to chakra or other devil fruit attacks,
Then what?
but it does mean that special properties of an attack will be negated. Haki
That's not
has
what
negated
Haki
the
does.
gaseousness of Caesar's fruit, allowing Luffy
Negated
to
the
punch.
gaseousness. No, that's just called non-physical interaction. Haki allows for non-physical interaction. That's why he can touch light, gas, etc., bro. Like, come on, bro. It does not negate the properties of an attack. If it completely negated the properties of a devil fruit ability, why when Luffy touches somebody with Haki activated, they still can use their devil fruit ability? Like, it's not a truth-seeking orb, which actually does do what you're suggesting. Like, come on, bro.
Punch literal air. Haki has negated the heat from punching in his fist.
If
and
it was
is also-
negating the heat, his fucking fist wouldn't still be hot. You feel me? We can still see heat boiling off his shit. We could just argue that the Haki is like the spiritual essence of the Hakiness. You feel me? Is durable enough to tank the heat or whatever. You feel me? It's not something like he's negating like the heat. The heat is clearly still there. We can still see the heat. It's represented by the smoke and his arm being literal fucking lava.
and is also explicitly described as being able to stop law from cutting a person, provided the Haki is strong enough.
Oh, okay, that's actually pretty dope because now you could argue like Haki has some sort of limited resistance to spatial manipulation because Law's ability is just to manipulate space within his area. But yeah, that does exist within pretty much every anime ever. Like even Black Clover has it, and so does Naruto. Spatial manipulation and resistances to it. Not really that impressive, but and pretty impressive to One Piece, I'd say. Especially not even pretty impressive to One Piece, considering spatial manipulation has existed in the series long before Haki. You feel me? In the form of law. So it is pretty damn dope, though.
The ability to keep law from cutting someone is incredibly OP, as
Just
he can cut
spatial
someone's head off
manipulation, as
and
we
then
discussed.
bisect it, and that person would still be alive. Zoro has shown that Haki is able to resist and cut through the effect of one of Ain's Devil Fruit attacks, and her Devil Fruit makes it things that it hits 12
That's
years
just like
younger.
some cheap ass Baragon
This
ability,
is Toon
right?
Force level power, guys.
No,
Haki
it's
can
literally a worse version of Baragon abilities from Bleach because he could just literally age your shit in the dust immediately. You feel me? But yeah, I guess you can use a similar argument to how someone would negate Baragon's ability in Bleach. I believe Seth the programmer said something like chakra may have like ageless properties. It may not be something that ages, you feel me? So time abilities wouldn't really affect it like that. You feel me? So like you couldn't whereas something like keto concretely ages and decays, right? Baragon can age keto and it will, decay and rust. We don't really see stuff like that with chakra. You feel me? So you could argue it's like somewhat like of an ageless substance, you feel me? And that like Naruto could just cloak himself in like, I guess, a QB chakra cloak, sort of. And then I guess sort of getting hit by this ability wouldn't really affect him just because you wouldn't be able to age the chakra around him. You feel me? And I guess you could argue that Haki does something similar to this, that spirit energy in One Piece, because that's, I believe, what Haki is. It's some sort of spirit energy or spirit armor. It doesn't really age and isn't really affected by like time hacks of that nature, right? Of that specific aging or reverse aging type nature. You feel me? So yeah, it's something pretty simple to argue against. It's something that has been argued against before, just because it's very similar to Baragon's ability from Bleach, right? So not really Toon Force level like he's saying, but once again, time manipulation is always pretty impressive.
Can resist it. This means that Haki can also resist and negate magic-based reality warping.
How the
You can
fuck
still
does that mean
overpower
that?
Haki.
How does limited resistance to time manipulation mean you now have resistance to reality warping, logic changing bullshit? That makes